Why do they have such fluffy tails? Cute answer. Foxes are really well adapted to a ton of climates. They do really, really well in the snow. But in the snow, the one part of their body that gets really cold really fast is their nose, because there's no hair on it, no fur on it. And so when they sleep, they kind of curl up into a donut, and then they wrap their tail around their nose, and it keeps it from releasing heat through their nose. You'll probably see our foxes do that on the live cams this winter when it gets cooler. Do they stay in a pack in the wild? They're mostly solitary. Hi, buddy. In the wild, except when they're breeding and raising young. We are in Central Texas, in Austin, Texas. So you release them, right? I think this is the third time, but nature of live streaming. So these guys are non-releasable, just like all of the animals that we have at Alveus. They're non-releasable because they were raised by people in captivity. This one that you're looking at right now was bred in captivity for the pet trade. And so releasing him into the wild would be a death sentence for him. He has no idea how to take care of himself. And he was not born in the wild. So as much as I would love to see these animals in the wild where they belong, for the individuals that we have at Alveus, their only options are to remain under human care and teach people about their species and be animal ambassadors as they are, or be euthanized. And for animals that don't do well in captivity, for animals that experience or express a ton of stress behaviors and make it very clear that they don't do well under human care, then euthanasia is a humane option that we would choose for them. But for these particular animals, because they've grown up with people, they do pretty well under human care, and we just do the best that we can to take care of them here. Can the gray one mate with the orange one? If they were male and female, yes, but they're both neutered males, so. Yeah, Finn's facial structure is super different because of selective breeding in captivity. Yeah, they get along pretty well. They get along, for sure. He looks like a bat. Interesting. Yeah, maybe a little. Euthanize them for being bad under human care. Is that what it sounded like I said? That's not what I meant for it to sound like. I mean, if they don't do well under human care, if they're clearly stressed and unhappy in captivity and afraid of people, and their quality of life is really bad. It didn't sound like that. Oh, okay, cool. No, not if they're bad. These animals are wild animals, right? They certainly regularly exhibit behaviors that are not ideal for like humans. Example, peeing on everything we give them. Is that ideal? No. Would that be like a bad dog? Yes. But that has nothing to do with whether or not they remain here and how we treat them. Reed is very sensitive. Reed is very sensitive to new things and new people. He only sees Flip like once a week generally, and so he gets nervous when he's in here because he feels like a new person to him. I don't think that Reed would do okay at a zoo that was open to the public. I think he would have a really, really hard time with people being here. We're not open to the public, so he never has to see people walk by his enclosure, like new people all the time. I don't think he would do well at a traditional zoo. Why wild tamed animals couldn't instantly be released and become apex predators. The other thing about nature is that it's exceptionally cruel. It's funny because humans make content out of like survival situations and like survival shows and how hard it is and how scary it is and how dangerous it is. You know, nature is really, really cruel, and nature's cruel to a lot of animals too. What would probably happen with a lot of the animals that we have here is because they just don't know how to find food for themselves, there's a chance that predation is what takes them out, right? And it's a really ugly, they get killed by something and it's very painful and tragic, right? But the more likely story is that they just don't know how to find enough food for themselves and they slowly starve. And so absolutely, euthanasia is a more humane option than that. But there's also a ton of permitting and stuff like that. You can't just let them go, right? Because that's a huge problem with having pets. People release pets that they don't know how to take care of, and then they become invasive species. You definitely can't just release animals. We have a lot of permits. And so we try to do things right here. But yeah, it would be a really, really terrible way for them to die. Would you ever take care of a bear? Bears need a lot of space. It's a ton of liability. And I don't think that we have the resources for a bear. at the moment? Why is it still legal having these animals as pets? It depends on the state. A lot of states make it really, really easy to have animals as pets that you should not have as pets without a permit. Why? I don't know. I'm not those entities. These animals are not pets. These animals, one of them was rescued from the illegal pet trade in California. So someone tried to have him as a pet, and that's not good for them. So he was living in someone's house. And so instead, we built as naturalistic of an enclosure as possible, give him outside space, and give him the best life we can under human care. And re-explaining so that he can teach people about foxes and about why you shouldn't have them as pets. Because Finn's life, while it is still under human care like it was before, Finn gets to live like a fox, right? We give him a lot of natural enrichment. He gets foraging enrichment. He gets all these trees. He gets a tunnel. He gets to dig. He gets to hunt bugs outside. And that is very, very different than living inside somebody's house like a dog, because that's not good for their welfare. What kind of enclosures do elephants need? I don't know. Like, so much space. We're on 15 acres. I can't imagine having one elephant on 15 acres. They're huge.
Wow.
If you had the resources, would you be... Thank you for the sub. If you had the resources, would you be open to the public? No. Definitely not. These animals... Let's walk down to the studio. These animals have a really cool opportunity as ambassadors to... Thank you. To not have to experience people in person and all of the layers that come with new people being around their cages and children screaming and throwing stuff and whatever. But they can still teach thousands of people globally. And all they have to be comfortable with is a few people and a camera every once in a while. And so Reed is obviously pacing. Part of that is because Flip is in here with a camera, and so we're heading out right now. But the vast, vast, vast majority of the day, Reed is in here with Finn with just a live camera on, and it is quiet. If you weren't hearing that sub alert, you would notice it is just quiet out here. So he's just not disturbed. Now he's good. He's just not disturbed by anything else. And so we like doing all of our education virtually for that reason. Okay, Abbott, what do you think? Do you plan on getting more animals? Yeah, totally. We will get more animals. I don't know what kinds and I don't know when. I know we want to do a vulture. I don't know when. If you just left their cage open, would they come back? They certainly have a great sense of smell. So there's a possibility that they might find their way back for food, but it's similar to having a completely outdoor cat. Like, will they come back? Maybe, because they know where food is, they can smell food. But they can also very easily die via predation or getting hit by a car or anything that nature has to offer them that's terrible before they have the chance to come back to you.